Hi, this is Avid Bansal. I'm an author and a life coach in the art of conscious living. I have made myself available here with just one simple intention to spread the right awareness about the phenomena of life, what people usually call as manifestation. And here's my assurance to you. Whatever I share in these summaries, it will be absolutely faithful to the original intention of Neville's word, free from distortion, and brought to you in the spirit of depth and clarity. Neville's very first publication was this particular book, At Your Command, nearby 1939. It's a very small book, having just 60 plus pages, but it's one of the most profound work of the Neville, which lays the foundation of his teachings in his upcoming career when he goes about teaching people what he find out about the life itself, about manifestation, about the I amness. So basically, this book is divided into 4 chapters without any naming, and this is something which I am bringing right from the original unabridged version of this book. So in the chapter 1 of At Your Command, Neville Goddard opens with a life-changing truth. You have the power to decree a thing, to decide something inwardly, and it will come to pass in your own life. Now what does that mean? It means nothing has ever appeared in your world by accident. Every condition, every event, every situation has first been claimed in your own consciousness, whether you realize it or not. Neville makes it completely clear. Decreeing is not about shouting the words or maybe repeating affirmations 100 times or begging someone outside of yourself. True decreeing happens silently. It is in the feeling what you carry about yourself. For example, a man who feels poor, even without saying it, is silently decreeing poverty. A man who feels wealthy is decreeing health. What you are conscious of being is actually what shows up in your own life. Neville then turns to the Bible and says, don't read it as an ancient history. Read it as a psychological drama, a book about your own mind. When Moses says in this book, I am hath sent me, or David writes, be still and know that I am God. They are all pointing to one thing. The name of God is I am. I am is not 2 words. It is your very awareness of being. When Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life, he's not pointing to a man named Jesus. He's pointing to the power of consciousness itself. The awareness is the way, the only way through which all things takes form. Neville explains this very beautifully. Consciousness is the Father, and what you're conscious of being is the Son. Father is always greater than the Son. Yet 2 are one. For example, before you're aware of being rich or maybe poor, you're simply aware of being. The pure awareness is the Father. Once you attach a state, I am poor, or maybe I am rich, that becomes the Son. Jesus understood this. That's why he said the kingdom of God is within you. Heaven is not a place far away. Heaven is a state of consciousness. And to go to Father, it simply means to rise in our own awareness, to lift yourself above your present limitations, and to know yourself simply as I am. And from that level, all things are possible. So what is prayer according to Neville? What he points out in this particular book. Prayer is not pleading with a distant God. The true prayer is claiming your desire as already fulfilled. If you are conscious of being poor and you pray for wealth, your prayer will only be answered with more poverty because you are still decreeing, I am poor. Prayer works when you shut the door on appearances and assume the feeling of being what you want to be. The moment it feels natural, the moment you can carry inwardly and say, I am this, your world begins to change. Neville gives us a very symbolical of Mary. Mary the Virgin is your own awareness of being. She can always conceive, no matter how many desires she has already given birth to. Your desire is the seed. When you unite your awareness with that desire, you feel one with it. You give the birth to its manifestation. So in the chapter first, two simple rules apply. First, keep your desires to yourself. Neville says, go, tell no man. Don't let others talk you out of it, that you do not want it. Secondly, magnify the Lord. This means expand your idea of yourself until the new state feels natural and real. And once it feels natural, your manifestation is guaranteed. So the chapter 1 leaves us with just one simple lesson. You are always decreeing, whether in weakness or strength, in poverty or abundance, whether you claim with your I am must appear in your life. In the chapter 2 of At Your Command, Neville Goddard teaches about us the story of creation, not as a myth, but as a guide to understanding your own consciousness. He begins with the word from the Gospel of John. In the beginning was the Word. Neville explains that this beginning is the exact very moment a desire arises in you. And the Word is the desire itself, an urge, a wish swimming in your own mind, waiting to be made real. But here's the key. The desire alone has no power. It must unite with your own consciousness, your awareness of being, and this is how it gains reality. Neville says it's like an agreement between your I amness, your awareness, and your desire. When they agree, desire is born into this world. For example, if you desire health, you must feel yourself as healthy even before any evidence appears. That feeling, I am healthy, is the agreement that brings into this form. The moment you truly accept it inwardly, it begins to appear in your life. Neville emphasizes this with the Moses. Moses said, I am that I am. This teaches us an important principle. To change your life, you must leave behind your old beliefs, fears, and limitations. You cannot carry your old self into new reality. To rise in consciousness, you must simply focus on being silently and fully, feel the pure awareness of I am, without attaching it to any specific desire, just I am. Once you feel this formless awareness, you can then give the form to your desire. Imagine it in your mind. Feel yourself already being that which you want. And in that state, everything is possible. Neville says that all things you can conceive of, whether it's wealth, health, happiness, are natural and attainable when experienced from this inner state. He also explains the idea of being born again. This doesn't mean a physical rebirth. It means leaving behind your old self, the current limitations, and stepping into a new state of consciousness. Only then can you begin to manifest the life you truly desire. Neville illustrates this particular fact with the story of the giants in the land. The giants are all the problems, obstacles, and challenges that seems overwhelming, but these giants only appears as giants because you see yourself first as a grasshopper. Change your perception of yourself. You see yourself as a giant, powerful and capable and free, and the giants around you would shrink. The consciousness is your own shepherd. What you are aware of being guides your life. You cannot be in want of what you are aware of being. If you're conscious of being wealthy, or maybe healthy, or loving, or powerful, your life will naturally reflect that. And the principle is very simple. Your world is the reflection of your own consciousness, not the other way around. You cannot change your surroundings by struggling against them. Instead, change yourself inwardly and the world will follow. And finally, in this chapter, Neville brings it back to the Jesus. Jesus left behind his Jesus consciousness, all the limitations of human, and rose into the state of consciousness of the thing he desired in that state. He became one with it and it manifested. The takeaway from this chapter is very clear. You too can transcend your current limitation. By shifting your awareness and fully feeling yourself as the state that you desire, you bring your desires into reality. And that's the essence of chapter 2. Desire unites with consciousness. Pure awareness creates reality. And you can rise beyond your present limitations of life by claiming the state of being you wish to experience. Chapter 3. Neville Goddard dives deeper into the process of manifesting our desires, focusing on faith, the gratitude, and rising in consciousness in this particular chapter, chapter 3. Neville begins by reminding us that no one knows exactly how a desire will appear in this world, in this physical world. This is because I am, your awareness of being, has the ways that are beyond our own understanding. The moment you doubt or try to figure out how, you block the natural flow of your own desire. He emphasizes the importance of faith. Just as the Bible says, he who asks must not doubt. Neville teaches that on the rock of faith, only on the rock of faith can anything be established. If you're not yet conscious of being what you desire, your foundation is itself weak. And this is where thanksgiving comes in. When you feel genuinely grateful for something you have not seen yet, you're aligning yourself with it in your own consciousness. Neville says that this inward gratitude is the proof that you become one with your own desire. You do not need to say it aloud. The feeling itself is enough. And next part in this chapter, chapter 3, he explains asking in the name. And this is not about pronouncing a literal name like a God or Jesus. Name refers to the nature of the thing you desire. To ask in the name simply means to rise in the consciousness and fully becomes one with what you desire. So if you want health, or wealth, or freedom, feel yourself as already possessing it, and this is how universe responds. Neville also discusses forgiveness. Before entering the meditation or the manifestation, release all the grudges or the blame towards others. Holding on to resentments binds you to the lower consciousness. By forgiving, you free yourself to rise to any level necessary. He even reinterprets the thing, tithing. The true tithing, Neville says, is giving to your awareness of being, your own consciousness. When you claim yourself as wealthy, that is tithing, or maybe loving or wise, you're offering these qualities to God. Your own consciousness will return them to just as you imagined. Neville reminds us in this part, what you're conscious of being is what manifests in this world. He uses the metaphor of vine and branches. The consciousness is the vine, and your desires are the branches. If you nourish them by focusing your awareness and feeling yourself to be in the desired state, they flourish. You take your attention off the problems and they dissolve. For an instance, if you feel imprisoned by the circumstances, stop focusing on the prison. Feel yourself as free. If you're sick, begin to feel healthy. The moment you lose yourself in the feeling of already being what you desire, the change occurs in the world. Neville stresses that faith in yourself is paramount. The I am within you is your own awareness, your own consciousness. It is closer than your hands, your feet, and your breath. Whatever you claim in this consciousness, you will see manifested. He warns against blaming others or circumstances. Everything in your life is a reflection of your own consciousness. The poverty, the illness, the limitation, all of these are caused by what you have accepted or believed about yourself. And by claiming a higher state, a wealth, a health, and a freedom, you align with the life you truly desire. He gives the example of prodigal son. Just as the son received the inheritance when he decided to claim it, you can too rise in the level of your own desires. There is no condemnation from the life itself, only what you allow yourself to believe. Neville's message is very clear. You are the cause of your own life. Your awareness, your consciousness is the power that brings your desires into reality. By feeling yourself already in the state of what you desire, by being grateful, by forgiving, and by claiming your own power, you manifest what you seek. So that's the chapter 3, the trust in your own consciousness, the rise into the feeling of your own desire, and let the gratitude and faith establish it in your own life. Chapter 4, the last chapter of the book, At Your Command. Neville takes us even deeper into understanding of how life responds to our own consciousness and how we can manifest our desires effortlessly. Neville's begin by reminding us that life does not judge. It doesn't care whether you call yourself rich, poor, strong, or weak. Life simply rewards you with what you claim as true about yourself. Right and wrong exist only in the mind of man. Your desires are already within you because of what you claim yourself to be. Think about it. When a man is hungry, he automatically desires food. When imprisoned, he automatically desires freedom. Desires contains the plan of self-expression. So stop questioning whether you are worthy or not. Rise to the level of your own desires and claim it to be true now. Faith is essential. Neville quotes this particular line. Through faith, the words were framed. Faith is the substance of the thing hoped for. So don't worry about how your desires will manifest. Like fertile seed dropped in the prepared soil. Simply plant your desire in the consciousness with faith, and it will grow. Worrying about the results or maybe methods will only hold the seed back. The biggest mistake people make is that conditioning their own desires. They see the world as real and forget that the consciousness is the only reality. If you focus on imprisonment, the poverty, the illness, you reinforce it. Instead, turn your attention away and dwell on being what you desire. Neville explains that even desires that seems challenging or extreme, like a freedom from a threatening person, are really about the life within the desires. Problems are like the mountains, but they can be removed if you have faith of a mustard seed. Your focus in consciousness determines what manifests. He uses the metaphor of fishing to illustrate this. The disciples fished all night and caught nothing. And Jesus told them to cast their nets again. This story is happening inside of you right now. You have all the elements necessary, but until you recognize your own awareness as the guiding force, your Christ consciousness, you will fish in vain. To catch the fish of your own desires, you must launch into deeper waters. Leave behind all the present problems and limitations. Say to yourself, I am, and I am. And dwell on just being. Feel yourself expanded. Lose attachment to the former limitations and step into a new powerful state of consciousness. Once you are in this expanded state of I am, attach yourself to your own desires. Feel I am wealthy, I am free, I am strong. Immerse yourself fully in these feelings. As Neville says, remain buried in these convictions. And like a thief in the night, the world will manifest these qualities unexpectedly. He also shares examples from the Bible. Daniel in the lion's den and the widow with the 3 drops of oil. Daniel turned his back on the lions, focused on the light above. Similarly, you must take your attention off the problems and dwell on the desired state. The widow with the 3 drops of oil filled all the vessels by acting in faith. These stories are just the metaphors for the recognition and belief in your own awareness, your own consciousness. Recognition is the power that brings things into existence. Whatever you acknowledge as true about yourself today will be magnified in your life tomorrow. Like the widow, start small. Just 3 drops of oil. Recognize the joy and abundance, and it will expand exponentially. Neville concludes this chapter by revealing a glorious truth. I am the Lord, thy God. Your awareness, your consciousness is the Lord. The world with its all abundance responds to your own consciousness. Once you claim the unseen, it must appear. Because life is compelled to respond to your own awareness. The world is indeed at your command. This particular book, At Your Command, teaches that your own consciousness is the ultimate reality. Everything in your life reflects what you are aware of being. Neville Goddard shows that desires are seeds already planted within you, and by assuming the feeling of wish fulfilled, the true feeling I am, or maybe already having it, you align yourself with the manifestation. Faith, imagination, and inner recognition are the keys. External circumstances just simply follow effortlessly once you awaken to your inner power. In essence, in truest of the essence, the book reveals that you are the creator of your own world. And by mastering your own awareness, you can bring wealth, health, and freedom, and all your desires into your life. And if you want me to create the book summary of other works of Neville, or maybe his lectures, feel free to comment down.